In this, we'll be talking about the business entity concept or the separate business entity concept, the dual aspect concept, cost concept, money measurement concept, going concern concept, accounting period concept, matching concept, accrual and realization concepts. So first, I'll be talking to you about the separate business entity or the business entity concept. So in accounting, we make a distinction between businesses and the owner. All the books of account records day-to-day financial transactions from the viewpoint of the business rather than from that of the owner. So the proprietor is considered as creditor to the extent of the capital brought in business by him. For instance, when a person invests rupees 10,000 into a business, it will treat that the business has borrowed that much money from the owner and it will show as a liability in the books of accounts of the business. Similarly, if the owner of a shop were to take cash from the cash box for meeting certain personal expenditure, the accounts would show that the cash had been reducing even though it does not make any difference to the owner himself. Thus, in recording a transaction, the important question is how does it affect the business? Now, the dual aspect. Financial accounting records all the transactions and events involving financial element. Each of such transactions requires two aspects to record. The recognition of these two aspects of every transactions is known as a dual aspect analysis. According to this concept, every business transaction has a dual effect. For example, if a firm sells goods for rupees 5,000, this transaction involves two aspects. One aspect is delivery of goods and the other aspect is immediate receipt of cash. In fact, the term double entry bookkeeping has come into vogue, and in this system, the total amount debited always equals to the total amount credited. It follows from dual aspect concept that at any point of time, owner's equity and liabilities for any accounting entity will equal to assets owned by that entity. Now the third one, the cost concept. The term assets denotes the resources, land, building, machinery, etc. owned by that business itself. So the money values that are assigning to assets are deriving from the cost concept. According to this concept, an asset ordinarily enters onto the accounting records at the price paid to acquire it. For example, if a business buys a plant for rupees 50,000, the asset would record in the books at $50,000. 50,000 rupees. Even if the market value at that time happens to be 60,000 rupees, the assets are recording at their original purchase price, and this cost is the basis for all subsequent accounting for the business. The assets shown in the financial statement do not necessarily indicate their present market values. So now the next one is the money measurement concept. In accounting, only those business transactions are recorded which can be expressed in terms of money. In other words, a fact or transaction happening which cannot be expressed in terms of money is not recorded in the accounting books, as money accepts not only as a medium of exchange but also it accepts as store of value. It has a very important advantage since a number of assets and equities. Okay, so for example, general health condition of the managing director of the company, working conditions in which a worker has to work, sales policy pursued by the enterprise, quality of product introducing by the enterprise, though exert a great influence on the productivity and profitability of the enterprise, are not recorded in the books. Similarly, the fact that a strike is about to begin because employees are dissatisfied with the poor working conditions in the factory will not record, even though this event is of great concern to the business. So now the going concern concept. Accounting assumes that the business entity will continue to operate for a long time in the future unless there is good evidence to the contrary. The enterprise views as a going concern, that is, as continuing in operations at least in the foreseeable future. In other words, there is neither the intention nor the necessity to liquidate the particular business venture in the predictable future. Because of this assumption, the accountant, while valuing the assets, does not take into account the post sale value of them. In fact, the assumptions that the business does not expect to liquidate in the foreseeable future establishes the basis for many of the valuations and allocations in accounting. Now, the sixth one, the accounting period concept. This concept requires that the life of the business should divide into appropriate segments for study. Financial results show by the enterprise after such segment. Okay. Although the results of operations of a specific enterprise can know precisely only after the business has created to operate, its assets have been selling off and liabilities paid off. The knowledge of the results periodically is also necessary. Those who are interested in the operating results of business obviously cannot wait till the end. The requirements of these parties force the businessman to stop and see back how things are going on. Thus, the accountant must report for all the changes in the wealth of a firm for short time periods. A year is the most common interval on account of prevailing practice, and this is the tradition or the government requirement, as you can say. Now, matching the concept. Okay, the concept bases on the accounting period concept. In reality, we match revenues and expenses during the accounting period. Matching is the entire process of periodic earnings measurement, often described as the process of matching expenses with revenues. In other words, income made by the enterprise during a period can measure only when the revenue earns during a period compares with the expenditure incurred for earning that revenue. Broadly speaking, revenue is the total amount in realized form. The sale of goods or provision of services together with earning from interest, dividend, and other items of income. The now accrual concept. It generally accepts in accounting that the basis of reporting income is accrual. Accrual concept makes a distinction between the receipt of cash and the right to receive it, and the payment of cash and the legal obligation to pay it. This concept provides a guideline to the accountants as to how he should treat the cash receipts and the rights related thereto. Accrual principle tries to evaluate every transaction in terms of its impact on the owner's equity. The essence of the accrual concept is that net income arises from events that change the owner's equity in a specific period, and that these are not necessarily the same as the change in the cash position of the business. Thus, it helps in proper measurement of income. Now, the last one, the realization concept. Realization is technically understood as the process of converting non-cash resources and rights into money. As the accounting principle, it is used to identify precisely the amount of revenue to recognize and the amount of expense to match to such revenue for the purpose of income measurement. According to realization, concept revenue recognizes when a sale happens. The sale is considered to make at the point when the proprietary in good passes to the buyer and he becomes legally liable to pay. This implies that revenue generally realizes when goods are delivered or services are rendered. The rationale is that delivery validates a claim against the customer.